Alright, it's time to create some art. You will need to have hand in hand your glue and scissors. And this is what we're going for. Every time we create a shape, you're gonna decide where to put it, okay? And right now, I'm just gonna show you step by step how to start your art project. Actually, you just gonna need 2 of the 3 papers I sent to you, but I wanted to give you an extra option just in case you wanna keep exploring. And you most likely will have extra paper. So when I did this one right here, I want you to notice something. This is the 3 papers I used for the sample. Notice how much I have left. So that means I can keep working on more shapes and keep adding to this one. But also, it's very important that you notice that I didn't cut my paper in the middle. I didn't just took pieces of paper from the middle. I work by taking rectangles and stripes, always from the edge, okay? So for example, if I wanna get my first stripe, I'm not gonna cut a stripe in the middle of the paper because that's just wasting the rest of the paper. I'm gonna cut from the edge, okay? For the stripes, I'm gonna try to keep them about, you know, an inch or 2 width, on their width. I'm always gonna use the longer size of the paper to make my stripes long. And then after I cut my stripes and I use my stripes, then I'm gonna start working with squares and rectangles to create my shapes. So this is what your paper should look like at the end of the project. So let's begin. Keep your background handy. If you chose to use a recyclable cardboard like my sample right here, kudos to you. Now you have an extra piece of paper to do art if you want to. And it's more sturdy, so you can hang it or just place it wherever you want and it will be more solid. So I staple your 3 colors. So gently ask your grown-up if you need help. Remove the staple. If it rips, it's okay. We won't be using 100% of the paper. And let's begin. So on the first paper, I told you we're gonna cut a long stripe, right? Because we wanna have our first stripe, we wanna make it as long as we can. I'm gonna start. If you don't feel comfortable just cutting right away, because you know, sometimes we wiggle a little bit when we cut such a long line, go ahead and fold your paper. Just like that. Fold it. Mark your oh, I forgot the word. Mark your pleat. Mark your fold. So now you have a line. You can even feel it if you mark it really tight. And cut through the lines. Take your time. I will fast forward these steps because we only have 15 minutes on YouTube to make the art together. So cut it, take your time. And as you remember, I told you the first step is creating the little feet to be able to glue. If we keep it flat, it's a bidimensional art form and it won't have volume. It won't be 3-dimensional like the sculpture that we're trying to go for. So if I just push this closer, I already immediately create width, depth, and height. That makes it a sculpture. But it's gonna be hard to glue if I don't have my feet in the bottom. So always grab your stripe and mark those 2 little feet that we need. Okay? With this stripe, I can just keep it simple and just glue it like an arch. I don't want it to take much room, so I'm gonna make it high. Depending on how width your line was, how it's gonna hold. But look, my options are going like this, going like this. Start playing with your shape. You wanna twist it and make a loop? Go ahead, make a loop. Play with it. Choose anywhere in your paper, apply your glue and glue it. Just like that, and glue it. Just like that. So I'm gonna start pressing, shh, baby girl, press down, and I'm gonna make a loop, and I'm gonna press down the other end, like that, just like that. See, now I have my first shape on place. I'm gonna continue with another color. So as I show you, I just want you to keep in mind I'm just taking stripes, squares, and rectangles out of my paper. I'm gonna go with a stronger color so you can see the difference. See? So I'm gonna make another line. I don't need to fold it because I think I can cut a pretty straight line. Let's see how I do. Just trying to work a little faster so you have more room to work with me. This one, since I already have a curvy line, I wanna make a zigzag line. So again, make room for my feet. That's where I will put my glue. Got my feet going, and then I'm gonna pinch in the middle, make a fold in the middle. Now it looks like a letter V, and I'm gonna go like this. And if I was eating it, I'm gonna hold it and eat with my left hand, back again with my right hand, trying to match. I took another bite, and I'm gonna open my mouth wide and take another bite. And if I want, I can stop there. It looks like a wonky letter M. Or if I want, I can make it even more zigzaggy. And now I have this kind of shape. Depends on where you glue it and how you glue it. You can also glue it irregular like this, how it's gonna look. You can also always attach one shape to another. The possibilities are endless. There's no right or wrong. Just follow the simple tricks that I am showing you, and your outcome is gonna be fun and great looking. So I'm gonna put this one right here, and I cannot did like, well, let me see how I can glue this one. I'm gonna go with something like this. I kind of like that. They crunch up in the top. That's pretty interesting. See how I always press down after I glue? I press down and make sure my shapes will hold. Okay. Again, go back to your paper, and now I'm gonna show you how to make this very waggly wall. Don't remember the name of it. So I'm gonna get to my third paper. So far, this is what I have. See, I am only taking stripes out of the longest side of your paper. This time I wanna cut it a little bit thicker because I'm gonna have to fold it in half, and that can be tricky on itself. So I'm gonna fold my paper. I always like folding back and forward. That's something I learned in origami. I fold things back and forward, soften up the fibers of my paper. If I don't have a ruler, I can just rip my paper, but I understand it takes a lot of practice. So just for time saving me some time, I did it this way, but you go ahead and use your scissors. Don't do what I did. And I'm gonna fold it in half again. I'm gonna fold it in half again. I'm gonna get the middle of my paper. You can always ask a grown-up to help you with this step if it gets too challenging. I understand. Open it, fold it in the other side too. Soften the fibers of your paper. Now here, what I wanna do is I'm gonna start cutting squares. So, you know, you don't need to measure with no ruler right now. Just, you know, if I go like this, I know that's not a square, that's a rectangle. So shorten it up and cut. Slowly. Don't zigzag. Try to keep your scissors straight and be always very careful not to cut yourself. Take your time. I'm rushing. I would be doing this process much slower, but time is gold on YouTube. So right now I have just a rectangle left. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut that off. I can use that leftover for something else. We'll see. And now I'm gonna go this one I won't touch. This one I will flip. This one I'll keep the same. And this one I will flip the opposite side. Alternate. No, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. And that's it. The trick here is now I have to apply glue. First, let me show you what the outcome is. It will look like this. Okay, but before you do that, go ahead and all the squares that you can see need to have a little dot of glue. See how I'm doing it on my surface? That way I apply glue the better. Now that I have that, lift it up, start choosing if you want it to zigzag a little bit, tap, 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 press, get it on, reshape if you need to. Have fun with it. Now that's the way it looked in mine. Okay, just like that. There you go. Those were the first three shapes that we created just with a strip of paper. Okay, so with the zigzag straight line that I looped it up so it looks curvy line, we can also just keep it simple, just the straight bridge. And if you make your line thicker, like I showed you at the beginning, you'll get a completely different shape. So let's try to go for something a little bit different here. I have my 3 papers. I cut 3 stripes. They look a little bit skinnier now. So I'm gonna choose another color and I'm gonna take out a full rectangle from the edge. Always start subtracting from the edge. I'm gonna cut straight line. If you're not comfortable cutting right away, just fold the paper. It's always helpful to just fold the paper. Create my feet. Whoopsie. 1 and 2. It's okay if you want to just keep it simple and go with something like this, like a big bridge. Even look, if you just twist it up like this, it's pretty interesting, right? Should we go with something like this? Let's just do it. Why not? Go ahead, apply glue. I'm generous with my glue, but then I run low and there you go. Is this the same color? No. Okay, so I'm gonna press down and play with it a little bit, tweak it, twist it, press down. There you go. I have another shape on it. Starting to look pretty fun. Get another color. This time I have the red. Again, take a rectangle from the edge. Now let's work on something fun like this. Okay, I'm gonna show you how to do that. So this one, I want one side to just keep be free to move around. So I only need a feet on the bottom. So I'm gonna keep my feet there. I'm gonna go in the middle of my paper or closer to the feet, but not all the way in. Fold my paper in and then out. So I'm zigzagging. 1 in and then out. I'm just making a zigzag line and in as many times as you want. These are kind of like very thick lines. Fold those right there. Can you see? That's your feet. That's the part you're gonna glue. This is the leftover I leave to make it stand. And these are the ones that I'm gonna cut. You can cut as skinny as you want or wider, whatever you choose. As long as you notice that you're gonna have a lot of tension once you get to that one layer of paper. So when you have multiple layers of paper, it's gonna be hard to cut. So take your time, open your scissor wide and try to cut with the inside of the scissor. That's always sharper, it's more sharp. And then when you get to the end, go slow because you can just whoosh. It will release tension and it will go really far. Stop. Keep going. Cut gently and stop. See, that one went farther. Cut slowly and stop. So what happens if you cut and it goes all the way in? No problem. It's okay. There you go. Now you just have a skinnier version of your zigzag line. So you can either add shapes on top of other shapes. That's your call. You can choose to do something like this. I kind of like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and glue that there. But if you don't want to, you can just put it there if you want. You know, whatever works for you. It's your creative voice that I wanna see making those big decisions, those artistic decisions. And you know what's the good thing about those artistic decisions? There's no wrong answer. It's just giving it a shot and seeing at the end, how do you like it? Would you make a different decision next time? Give it another shot. So since that happened and I didn't finish cutting this, I can either use this zigzag line as it is, or I can trim it just like this. So just for fun's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and finish it. So I have another one like this. And be careful when you cut close to your hand. And I'm gonna glue this one. Can even glue it on top of this one too. I'll have two. I don't want to make it too heavy. I'm looking for where am I missing something fun? Where do I need something fun to happen? So if I don't want this to fold that way, I can always create another fold. And I just change the shape a little bit. Just like that. Okay? Just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and do that so I can keep adding. You might still be working on one of these shapes. Go ahead and pause the video. Forget about me for a while. Work on one shape at a time and then press play and continue. Now I'm gonna go with a big rectangle. Always take from the edge. I have a big rectangle and I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna cut it in half. This square I'm gonna turn into a circle just by going with my scissors in like this and turning my paper like this. Turn, turn, turn. I have a circle. Not perfect, but good enough for me. Got a circle. Go ahead. Imagine where's the middle of your circle. That's where you wanna finish your cut. What am I gonna do here is I'm gonna overlap this cut with the other one. Let the paper tell you which way they wanna go. And I created the cone that we talked about. If your square is big, your cone's gonna be big. Just add some glue. Glue that in together. And find a funny spot to put your cone. Where will be interesting for you to see your cone? Where would you want to put your cone? Your call. I can have it in here. That might be interesting. You choose. No wrong answers here. Just be creative. Have fun. No wrong answers. I made my cone right there. What else can I do with a square? Again, go for a circle. Just get the corners out of the picture. That's the circle I took out of the rectangle. Now I'm gonna show you how to make a loop. Is it called a loop? An ellipsis. I'm gonna get in and try to make like a smaller circle. And I keep rotating my paper. Rotate your paper. Keep your scissors straight. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Rotate, rotate, rotate. Rotate and stop. Here you have the spiral. And you just glue it. If you just pull the center away from the edge, now I have my spiral. Isn't that interesting? I love the way those shapes look. Go ahead, apply glue. Glue one end. Pull it wherever you think it's gonna look good. It's your call. No wrong answers. Where do you want it? Mine is not gluing, but I did something out here. That one's not gluing, so I'm gonna press down there. And now that I know where I'm gonna keep it, you can even keep it like that. That's fine. Go ahead and glue the other end. I have a loop. You might have to press the paper down a little bit, hold it tight a little longer. Let's see what other shapes can we do. Now, these are all the options that we're gonna be working on today. I already basically just show you all the different options. It depends how long, how wide or long your papers are, how they're gonna turn out, you know? If you make it skinny or you make it thick, that's the difference of the outcome. But there's no wrong answer, so keep exploring, repeat the shapes as many times with different sizes of rectangles and stripes, and I'll see you at the end. I'm gonna finish my project. Okay, friends, that's a wrap for today's project. I hope you had fun. You can always review the video if there's a shape that you're more interested in. You don't have to use all the options. You can just make your zigzag lines your theme and just work with zigzag lines. You make that choice. I hope you enjoyed this project. And if you get a chance to see your friend's artwork, I specifically sent different kinds of colors on your packages. So some of them are gonna look like mine, and some of them are gonna look cooler. So take a look at the different options of colors. I hope I will see you on Friday on our Zoom class. We get to discuss all these options on our sculpture and create some more new art together. I'll see you. Bye bye.